to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and it's time for the next day in our Junk Journal July challenge. So today is day 14, Workspace, and I thought that I would go ahead and find the pages that I decided to use for today's challenge in my journal first. But then, before I jumped into the actual page, to perhaps give you a little tour of my workspace. So here's the pages that I want to use, and as I mentioned, today is day 14, Workspace. This is a relatively new workspace. Up until about 2 months ago, I was working just at the kitchen table. But when my youngest son moved out, I got his room to use as a craft/workspace/office. So far, most of it is still a bit of a mess, but my workspace area, anyway, is set up and functional. So I thought I'd give you a little tour from here, where I sit to do my videos, to kind of take a peek at everything that I have on my workstation. I've been using it for about 2 months, and I think I've got things in a pretty good place in terms of accessibility and being able to reach things. My favorite and most used tools right there at hand. And then my little dish where I keep all the scraps from my current project. And then I do have this little 3-level tray next to me with some extra supplies that just don't fit. I thought it could be fun, since this original book had a picture of a workspace, that I could take pictures of my own workspace and include them on the other side to tie both pages together. Now I had this photograph, which is of the full workspace. I decided to put that on the left-hand side along with the label for which day it was, and then use the right-hand side for some of the other photographs. I definitely printed more of these than I had room for, and I knew that going in, but I decided that it would be better to have too many pictures and have to weed them down than to have a whole bunch of pictures and still need more. So after I went ahead and cut them all out, I kind of looked through them to see which ones were my favorite, and also which ones really seemed to make the most sense together. I realized pretty quickly as I went through these that I was only going to have room for probably 4 photographs, and at the end of it all, that was okay. I didn't need to have every single piece of my workspace for this spread, just the ones that were the most meaningful to me and also the most visually appealing. I did end up deciding to include this photograph of my glues rather than the photograph of my stamps, mostly because I use those glues every single time I sit down to journal. And then, more or less, the only thing left to do was to glue everything down. I did decide to glue them towards the top of the page because I thought that would balance the single photo on the other side a little bit better if they were more towards the top of the page, since it was more towards the bottom of the page. I did decide that I needed just one more thing. It just didn't quite feel finished. So I grabbed a few of the labels that I had, and I just played around a little bit with maybe what could fill that space at the bottom just a bit, and then what could I do in the center there to connect those four pictures together and make them feel like one unit. And when I put that prescription label down, I just knew that was exactly what I needed there. Then the green bugged me about that tag, so I was trying to find something else that would be interesting but not really draw attention to itself. I toyed briefly with the brown tag, but ultimately ended up deciding that the blue was the right choice for that. I have been a bit obsessed with numbers on labels lately, so I thought that might be a good approach, and then I found this one and a little bit of fiddling around trying to decide which number label was the right one, and then thought, well, if one is good, two is better, again, to sort of balance them out. I keep finishing spreads in this challenge and realizing that this one has been even more satisfying than the previous one. I feel like I've gotten into a bit of a groove and the decisions are so much easier. I don't know, maybe that's part of the point of a challenge like this. Are you finding that for yourself, or are you still finding that you struggle with making decisions on each of your pages? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And that really is it for this page. I enjoyed this particular prompt a great deal, Workspace. I hope that you enjoyed watching it. If you did, hit the like button below and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you join me on a more regular basis. Until next time, enjoy your junk journaling and make a great day.